Welcome back to Penny's 2 Cents. It's your girl Penny, and this is my awesome dad,
George.
Today, guys, I attempted to make a pumpkin roll. Now, I'm not going to show it to you right away here, okay? I am going to show you how I made it. It is my best friend of 30 years, Shelley's recipe, and she makes them great every time. I failed a little bit, Shelley. I failed a little bit. So I'm asking for Shelley's help and your guys' help. Watch how I made this and tell me how to keep my cake from breaking. Okay? So here's the video on how I made this. Okay, guys. Today I'm making Shelley's pumpkin roll. Now, I am doing this for Dad's birthday, okay? Today is Dad's actual birthday, November 12th, but you'll be seeing this video probably November 13th or later, okay? But I want to make Shelley's pumpkin roll for Dad's birthday. Now, I wasn't intending to do this. A friend of mine messaged me, Julie, very good friend of mine, like a sister to me, messaged me and said, hey, do you have Shelley's pumpkin roll recipe? Because she wants to make one for Thanksgiving and for Christmas if she can make it, okay? She said she loves Shelley's pumpkin roll. Shelley's my best friend of 30 years, okay? I've had Shelley's pumpkin roll a million times and I love it. I've never attempted to make one because I know it's a little technical and I'm a little scared today, but I'm going to attempt it. But anyway, get back to the story. Julie wanted to know if I had Shelley's pumpkin roll recipe and I said I did not. I texted Shelley and Shelley promptly texted me back, give me a photo, a copy, a snapshot of her pumpkin roll, and I sent that recipe. I sent that recipe to Julie. Julie said thank you. I told Shelley thank you, but I never told Shelley I was making her pumpkin roll. So I hope I make Shelley proud today. Like I said, I have never made a pumpkin roll in my entire life. I've been in the kitchen. I think I was in the kitchen one time when Shelley was making them. She makes them every year, guys. And they're absolutely delicious. I can't say that enough. Let's get started. Let's see how much I messed this up. Shelley, in the comments, please let me know if I mess up or what you would do differently, okay? And all the Penny Pinchers crew, if you're all bakers and you make pumpkin rolls, if I mess up in any way, please let me know. Because if I can at least get this to turn out okay, I will be making more of them because they are absolutely delicious. Let's go for it, guys. Cross your fingers, cross your hearts, say a little prayer for me. Let's see if we can make a pretty pumpkin roll and make it edible, okay? Let's get my bowl out. Now I know for a fact, Shelley starts with all the dry ingredients. So I am gonna get my flour out here. I need 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. 3/4, right? Make sure. 3/4. I got my 1/4 cup. I need 3 of these. Got my leveler. Let's do it. All-purpose flour. Not packed in, just leveled off. Okay. Making sure I have my 1/4. So there's 3. There's 1. And when I read these ingredients, I thought 3/4 a cup, they don't seem like much for like a cake. Okay, but okay. There's 2. I'm leveling it off, okay? Baking is a precise thing. Sometimes we like to stretch our imaginations a little bit with baking, but baking is a precise thing. So I got 3/4 a cup of all-purpose flour in my bowl. Now I need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Here's my baking powder. Let me find my 1/2 teaspoon. There's my 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon baking powder. Half teaspoon of baking soda. Got this big thing of baking soda, guys. I got it to do some cleaning with. So let's see. A 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. There we go. That's the leavening. Let me know, guys, if you have all-purpose flour, not all-purpose, if you have self-rising flour and you don't want to use the baking powder, baking soda, will it do the same? Or do you feel like doing the baking powder and baking soda on your own, do you feel like it raises better? Let me know on you how you feel about that. I'd rather just use the self-rising flour, but not today. I'm going with the instructions here. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. If nothing else, this should be a very comical baking, guys, because like I said, I'm not. That's a little over 1/4. I think it's okay. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Teaspoon. Where's my cinnamon? There's my cinnamon. 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon going in. And I feel like the seasonings, if you like a lot of seasonings, like a lot of cinnamon, you could put a little extra if you feel froggy, okay, as we used to always call it. Nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now I know, have you ever smelt this stuff? I know I don't want to go over 1/4 of nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon. Whew, that stuff. Whew. Take a big sniff of that. 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. 1/2 teaspoon. Let me find my 1/2 teaspoon again here. 1/2 teaspoon ground ginger. I feel the same way about ground ginger. It's weird. I love ginger snaps and spice cake and stuff like that. But like sometimes ginger in like Chinese food, sometimes they put it like in their egg rolls and they get it too strong. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm not, I'm a 1/2 teaspoon, right? 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger going in. Then I'm gonna go heavy handed on that because I just know how I feel about ground ginger. Okay, ground clove, 1/4 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove, and it is strong too. Smells like anise or a little bit like licorice. Okay, what was it? I'm gonna double check here. 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Yes, I am not going over in that at all. Okay, it's a level. 1/4 teaspoon. Now you need 1 cup of sugar. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Regular granulated sugar, 1 cup. Here's my little. Okay, 1 cup of sugar. I could have gotten my leveler, but I didn't feel like picking it up. 1 cup of sugar is going in. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, guys. I double checked to make sure I had all of my dry ingredients. I'm just going to whisk this up a little bit. Get these dry ingredients mixed together a little bit. Now I know Shelley has a KitchenAid mixer, and she does this in her KitchenAid mixer. I do not have room for a KitchenAid mixer. I wish I did. Okay, it's all whisked together. Now we're going to start going in with the wet ingredients. We need 2/3 of a cup of pure pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling or anything like that, but pure pumpkin. What'd I say again? 2/3. There's my 1/3 cup. Oh wow. Didn't have all my sugar out of there. I had knocked it over. Anyway, it's there. Okay, 2/3 cup of, so like I said, I got 1/3 of a cup here. I need 2 of these full. Okay, there's 1 full one. Make sure I get it all out so I get enough. We need 2 of those. All right. That is in. Okay, set this over here. Oh, I was looking for the lid. There's no lid. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Okay, now we need 4 eggs and a teaspoon of vanilla. Let me get this teaspoon of vanilla in. Vanilla is one of those things. A cap is about a teaspoon, but I like to do like a little cap and a half. Okay, and most things where it says a teaspoon, I usually do that. It's just something I do. It's not something I've done since I was a young kid trying to make stuff. Okay, I got 4 fresh eggs here. I got to crack, okay? And I got another bowl. I want to crack all eggs into this bowl. Make sure I don't have any shells. Make sure the eggs aren't bad. Okay, I don't want to ruin my mixture of stuff there. So let's get all 4 eggs in here. Make sure I don't have any shells. Make sure the eggs aren't bad. It's been a super long time since I've seen like a bad egg, you know, fresh from the grocery store. I remember a few years ago, I don't know if it was just my luck or whatever, but every time I'd get like a carton of eggs, I'd always find one that was bad or a little funky. But anyway, there's 4 eggs here. They're going in. Okay, guys. All the ingredients are in this bowl. I even double checked. Now I'm going to get this mixed up. Like I said, if you have a KitchenAid mixer or whatever, put this in your KitchenAid mixer. Make it easy on you. I just know you don't want to mix it too long, because you don't want to make the gluten in the flour. It'll make it dense, okay? You just want to mix it long enough to get the lumps out, to get the eggs all mixed up. You don't want to overwork it. So what I like to do is do it by hand. That way I know how many times I've whipped it. I can check the bottom here to make sure all my flour is worked up. And that's it, guys. I'm happy with it. That's all I'm mixing it. That's it. Okay, let me slide all this stuff over. I got my oven preheating at 375 degrees. And when I was asking Shelley about this for this recipe for Julie, which I don't want Shelley to think I was asking for thinking I was asking for Julie, but I was really asking for myself. I was actually asking for Julie because Julie had texted me and said, I need to make one of those. I need Shelley's recipe. Do you think you can get it for her, for me? You know what I'm saying. And since Shelley gave me the recipe and I forwarded it on to Julie, I'm like, I gotta make one of those. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna prove it that I can do this. So anyway, Shelley said 375 degrees Fahrenheit in your oven. This only bakes for 15 minutes. And she said I needed a 13x9 jelly roll pan. I was like, Shelley, what the hell is a jelly roll pan? It's a cookie sheet, okay? I think, let me know, guys. This is a 13x9. I think a jelly roll pan, this is a ceramic one. I went ahead on Amazon, got me a nice ceramic one. I thought it would, because they don't rust and stuff, okay? But anyway, what qualifies as a jelly roll pan? To me, it's a cookie sheet. But I guess a jelly roll pan is typically nice and flat, okay? There's no like grating. And it just has a flat edge around. There's like no extra little divots, you know what I mean? Like wells in the sides. So I don't know. You let me know if I'm right with that. I'm just kind of piecing together what I looked up and stuff. Anyway, you need a piece of parchment paper bigger than your jelly roll pan. Mine is way bigger than my jelly roll pan. Okay. And you need some Pam spray. I got the butter flavor. Why not? Okay. And you want to spray down where this cake is going to go in here. Now this is, let's see if I can get it to act a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to spray down this sheet really, really good where this cake is going in. I do not want this cake to stick on this thing. I think I got it. Whoa, smells like butter. Smells like butter. Okay. Now, I am going to pour this in here. Okay? Moment of truth. This is going to go in here. I'm going to get all this goodness out of here. And we're going to spread it around so it meets all the corners. Let's get all this goodness out of here. Saw a little bit of flour at the bottom. Mixed it up. Okay. Now what I want to do is spread it to the corners. One side seems higher than the other side, so I'm going to move this over here. Make sure it's going down in the corners good. Taking my spatula and going around the edges of the sheet pan, the jelly roll pan, so I could tell where the actual corner was. Get that over there. It's all about getting this pretty even. I do know that because it's got to be somewhat even. Alright guys. Move that a little bit. Seems pretty shallow over here. We'll see. I'm afraid mine's not going to be very even. Anyway, 375 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to get some of this stuff cleaned up. I'm going to, at 15 minutes, I am going to taste, I'm going to not taste test this. I'm going to test it with a toothpick. I'm going to poke it in the middle. If it comes out clean, it's done. If it's a little cakey or whatever, I might cook it another minute or two. But from what I can remember from what Shelley, I've been around Shelley's, she's usually got her timing set up pretty good. So if my oven is at 375, it's the correct temperature, right? Then it should only take 15 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to get cleaned up. And then we got to make the frosting that goes inside this that you roll up, okay? So I think we're going to let the cake mostly cool, but not completely cool to do the rolling, okay? So like I said, I'm going to get this in there cooked, baked. When it's ready, I'm going to pull it out, and I'll be back to show you how I'm making this frosting. And then we'll get this thing, we'll try to get this thing rolled up, okay? So stay here. Okay guys, that cake baked for exactly 15 minutes. I took a toothpick in the middle, it came out clean. It is back there cooling, okay? While the cake is cooling, I want to make this yummy frosting. This frosting is everything that goes in this cake. And then we're going to try to roll it up, okay? Hence the name pumpkin roll. Okay, first off, I need 8 ounces of cream cheese, room temperature. And I am going to use my hand mixer for this. I want this to be whipped up really nice and smooth. Like I said, this frosting, this is what makes or breaks this, I'm telling you. So let's get this cream cheese in my bowl. And I always wrestle with these packs, guys. There we go. Cream cheese and me always has a fight. We want 6 tablespoons of butter. So each stick of butter, 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 tablespoons in a stick of butter. So we want 2 tablespoons off of that. We want whole 6 tablespoons. Whole 6 tablespoons. Listen to me here. Don't skip out on this. I know this is what makes it absolutely delicious. So 6 tablespoons, the big piece that's going in there. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And as I always say, I go 1 capful and 1 splash past that. That's what I do. 1 teaspoon. That's what it's something I've always done. Powdered sugar. We need a cup of powdered sugar. Let me get my cup over here. Scissors. Now this doesn't have to be exact, guys. And it probably is not going to be in my case because I stink at pouring this stuff. Maybe I should put it on top of here. Since I usually get powdered sugar everywhere. One cup of powdered sugar. That's it, guys. Now you want to whip this up and whip it up good, okay? Whip it good. Just like that song said, okay? Woo. Take a second and kind of scoop the bottom. Oh, I just stuck my finger in it. Scoop the bottom. Guys, I'm just trying to get most of the powdered, there was like powdered sugar down in the very groove of my bowl. So I want to get most of that. Get whipped up. get some of that whipped cream off there. Whipped cream. That cream cheese off there because we want every last drop of this cream cheese. Every last drop. This is as good as it's going to get. Okay, guys. I'm going to get cleaned up here. Get this table all sanitized because I'm going to work on this table. Okay? Get this table all sanitized and get some room to do what I got to do. Let's hope I can get this thing spread. This is the part that I'm a little nervous about. But I'll be right back with the cake and we'll see what I can do with it. Okay, guys. Here's my cake. I think it turned out pretty darn good. I really do. Now, I gotta figure out what side of this I'm gonna start on, okay? We wanna get this iced up and rolled up to make a pumpkin roll. This is the one process that has caused me not to make pumpkin rolls all these years because I've always been afraid that I'm not gonna be able to get this rolled up. Well, let's get it iced up. Well, the cake is pretty delicate, so I'm trying not to rub the cake, you know what I mean, like rub the crumb off the top of the cake. I am going to say, guys, you can make this ahead of time. Say if you decide you want to try making a pumpkin roll for the first time. You can make these ahead of time for Thanksgiving. You just go ahead and make it, roll it, wrap it in plastic wrap, and wrap it in aluminum foil. A lot of people put it in, like in a Ziploc bag, like a gallon Ziploc bag. Stick it in the freezer. And the day of Thanksgiving, just pull it out of the freezer, and there's your dessert. Get my hand in here. Now, the fat kid in me and the fat adult in me, I want to put all this frosting on. But then it also scares me if it's super thick, how am I going to get it rolled up? Oh, I stuck my finger. I'm trying to make it pretty even. So I'm kind of taking my time here. I want it to be kind of even. I don't want it to be super thick in some areas and super thin in another. Okay, I'm using all this. Ooh. All this frosting that is on there. I'm scared, guys. I am so scared that I'm not going to be able to roll this. I'm breathing heavy. Oh, shoot. Let me wipe my hand off because I got my fingers in it. Okay. I am so scared. This is the part that I am got a lot of trepidation with, okay? I know the parchment paper, this is going to help me roll it, okay? Okay, guys. Say a little prayer for me. I am going to try to do this. I don't know how much pressure to put to keep it from breaking. It's coming off the parchment paper great. Ooh. This is why I'm scared, guys, because I'm afraid this cake is gonna break. It is. Okay. Shelley, how do you do this? Okay, my cake broke, okay? It broke. I don't want to touch it anymore. The cake broke. Wow. Okay. That's mine. This is why. See, it's breaking. I do not know how to prevent that, guys. If you know, let me know, because I don't know. I don't know if she uses less of the cream cheese or not. I don't know. I really don't want to move it much more. I know you can store this in the refrigerator and stuff. I'm just thinking about going ahead and cutting it and having Dad and I taste test this. I think it's still going to taste good. I'm a little upset that, I mean, it totally broke. And I didn't put that much pressure on it, so I don't know. But anyway, if you are afraid to do the roll, let me tell you, it's going to taste just as good as to bake the cake like you've seen it and make it like bars. You know what I mean? Like leave it out flat, put the frosting on it, and just eat it like that. Okay, slice it into whatever size slices you want. That's going to be tasting just as good as this. I just thought the aesthetic was going to look better than this. I thought I could get it rolled, but that was the part I was afraid of it breaking, and that's what happened. So anyway, I don't know. How could I get it not to break? Y'all that are doing these pumpkin rolls at Christmas and Thanksgiving, give me some helpful hints down in the comments. This is how we learn, guys. This is how we learn. But anyway, I'm going to get washed up. I'm going to bring Dad over to the table, and we're going to taste test this, my broken pumpkin roll. It should still taste good, okay?